over here on Dust2.
It's a decider game, and it's two American teams here on home soil, but there can only be one in the playoffs. First map, Dust2, and with M80 starting on the CT side, Wildcard's pick in the series. It is all going to be about how they set the tone here on Wildcard.
And Swisher started off by taking their heads off. This is a good sign, but he's not able to continue, and JBA on the lurk, always good for one. At least he'll be late to rotate in, and the CTs are looking to punish, but Sonic is turning it right on their heads. Friend, worried about a flank to come through, but Sin and Slacks have collected inside the B bomb site. This is straightforward from the CTs, but as the bomb starts to go over, Sonic knows he might need to take a duel. Slacks taking it to them, looking for fights, but he can't get any more heads to roll. It's Wildcard to get the plant in.
Yeah, that's actually such a shame from Swisher. He made such a good first opening kill, but didn't take that space, and Wildcard just are so happy to run with the punches. A nice push from Friend through the smoke as well, and they will completely overpressure the M80 squad in defense. If Swisher had gotten the heads up or had an inkling that it was going to be that B bomb site, he would have created more room for those rotates. But really nice job from Wildcard to dispatch of him quickly and take the site as well.
And that really nice thing to see, and look, it's just round one, but JBA being this comfortable to just be the lurk, even though the bomb is very clearly going to commit over to the B bomb site. Wildcard are here to play their own game. They're here to let a lot of their individuals be loose. And again, it's a pistol round, it's a lot to read into, but if it's a trend, I'm all here for it. Nades to the face of JBA are hardly helpful, but fortunately for him, they don't quite kiss him as much as they could have.
Yeah, that smoke is very late, and it's actually the scout shot of Friend, just as that smoke blooms, that catches the first. So a little bit of presence towards long. They have sight lines on it. They can come through that smoke, no problem. M80 are going to have a very hard time defending this bomb site. Just Slacks with this scout on the corner, and yeah, his timing on the jiggles is inadequate to take a shot. I think this is something that we credited Wildcard with a lot yesterday, as they played a very patient game. Dust2 is a map where a lot of map control is often ceded to Ts. M80 have to be ready to pick up on that kind of rhythm. There was a lot of stop-start action with Wildcard. They know that they have to try and play it a little bit more sporadic and play off of information. Even this low buy from M80 can be threatening. Slacks getting the trade onto short. It's a 1-on-2, and he's got his hands on an AK as well. This is not an easy path to cross, especially with the bomb at Slacks' feet.
You've got no utility to help yourselves out either beyond just that one smoke, but you're not going to feel comfortable throwing it for Friend. His only job is to cover off as JBA moves forward. They know that this can go anywhere, but with time running low, it does feel like Slacks is giving up a bit of that advantage. The smoke will bloom, and he realizes the bomb might already be lost, but rotating back to A long will take too long. Slacks will try and fade in through. They're jumping forward. He knows they're in front of him. They're turned around. Slacks wants to make the push, but it won't matter. Friend's Glock shuts him down, saves the day.
Yeah, just had the thought. I mean, there was so much time for Slacks to reposition, but he was just clearing towards top middle. As soon as he hears that smoke, I think he realized as well, he could have either committed to that flank, but then it maybe becomes a little bit too readable. And he had a timing where he could have challenged past the smoke, but really nice heads up there from Friend to just get his Glock ready, because if he had nothing else to look at, you know, his teammate was carving out the path towards that A bomb site. May as well check behind.
And look, let's not forget one of the problems for M80 yesterday versus Big Clan was this CT side. It was where they just felt like they couldn't get anything going. They did all right on the T side, right? They started to recover when they were down 7-1. They started to get into the groove of things, but against Wildcard, you were sort of expecting and hoping that their firepower itself would be enough to overrun and overwhelm. Anti-eco goes as you would expect it, but Wildcard losing even fewer players than normal, keeping everyone alive, and Stanislaw getting 4 kills with that MAC-10.
Yeah, and I think there has to be maybe even a chip on the shoulder of Stanislaw. You know, we're singing so much praise about Sin and how much he offers in terms of his difference in calling and the style he brought towards this M80 team. Because I remember having a conversation with Stamina once upon a time, the analyst for M80, and when Sin was just getting first integrated, it wasn't like he was trying to make M80 like Big Clan. He came in with a completely different sort of outlook on the game, and it seems to really work for this North American squad.
And the thing is, Sin brings a lot of things, but Stanislaw is the one with stage experience.
Yeah.
And a lot of it. But at the highest levels of Counter-Strike, once upon a time led the best team in the world, the last North American team to actually get to #1 in the world rankings. What a time that was. Evil Geniuses on #1 HLTV.
That's why so much of the credit for Wildcard and the way they bounced back yesterday was about the calling. First gun round here for M80, but already some presence being made here by Wildcard. A smoke and a Molotov deep as well. This will break down the crossfire that they had set up from spawn, but Lake does deliver on that first kill. The instant headshot to Susp, and it will be an easy cleanup for Sin. Swisher even rotating into the action and just making sure that there is no more presence out from this mid-B split.
JBA has to make this lurk work now. At this point, the bomb is very much lost, and if he can provide distraction, maybe Friend can look to reclaim, but it still all comes down to what the AK can find, and Friend's being flanked. Remember, Rex still alive and coming in from behind. Wildcard will have their round streak stopped, and in a way where M80 can feel very good about it. 4 players kept alive. Very straightforward shutdown despite a decent call coming out from Wildcard. Lake just holds down the line.
Yeah, and they trust their procedures as well. As soon as Lake is taking that contact and the crossfire breaks down, Swisher gives up his position inside of that B bomb site. If it is a split, they're fighting for one side of it instead of being split in their decision making and offering up these 1-for-1 duels. Try their best to play as shoulder to shoulder as they could. There's a team ace from M80 in that first gun round. And I expect to see a lot of slow builds from this Wildcard squad.
And that's exactly the kind of round where Slack should be succeeding in doing his best work in.
It's also, in a way, counteractive. You have a player like Lake that is so, I guess, intuitive in the way that he wants to, I guess, attack in the mid and early rounds. Wildcard just making sure that they keep tabs on everything.
And it's necessary, right? I mean, you look over towards Lake. Lake's had this tendency forever, and they know it as well.
Yeah.
And Lake is, to his credit, he might seem intuitive, but he's really a researcher. Slacks, however, he's got the boost to try and play off of, but he sees the hand. He knows what's coming in for him. The flash will not matter either. Friend is gone.
Just an on-the-fly decision, and that AWP is actually, I think, what majorly gives him away. See a glimpse, sure, but seeing that AWP redeployed, it's not exactly a very graceful animation.
Time is low. Lake in front of the smoke. Stan is low with an AWP in his hand, waiting for this push to come through. If Lake is gone, then it could be big, but Stan turns away. Worried about a closer push. Swisher, in the meanwhile, a flashbang to help him peek mid, but not able to do so. Time's running low. Wildcard have got a choice to make, but that choice might be stolen away from them right here. Lake looks to wait for first contact to be made from the car player, and Swisher is right here to act as insurance. Wreck is gone, and so was Wildcard.
Yeah, I mean, 10 seconds by the time they start actually making their way into that mid-B split, and they just realize they just simply don't have the time to fully flush out that bomb site. 20 seconds when they get past the doors, it just simply wasn't enough. Nice job so far from M80. As soon as we get them on rifles, they are doing a good job of quelling what Wildcard are even just trying to pry into. They're losing players, and they're unable to get efficient trades. And this is the type of composure you, I guess, would want from an M80. They've had more chances, more, I guess, exposure to the international circuit.
Slacks. Fantastic first pick, and them not going to be ready for Lake at all at this rate. He's starting to push forward. It's all about finding the second man. JBA known to lurk, and everyone knows that tendency can be exploited. Lake, he's played against his team a million times. He has that expectation. It'll
seem so simple as well. Just the fact that Slacks took that fight from the deeper angle, the internal timer there for JBA is going to be all over the shop. He was going to probably re-clear towards lower in another half or another second maybe. But that's what having that secondary player in lower tunnels can really do for you.
And regrouping back into short means you've got full mid control, and that will be maintained continually. Wildcard know that it's all about this A site. Slacks is covering off the B tunnels, right? So you don't have to worry about that at all. Having 4 rifles here, Wildcard, honestly, you just can't save because of the weapons you have, but you feel like if you didn't know about that, this is the exact sort of position you say, maybe we think about next round.
Yeah.
But an attempt has to be made.
Let me see exactly how Wildcard are playing it. They're not taking risks. They are playing together, and they're setting up for flash plays. Swisher straight through that CT smoke just as it blooms. The Sonic getting that trade right back. It's not as though that it will be an easy pass. Still 3 CTs in defense, and just finding good timing. The spam from Sin as well. It's immediate shutdown after shutdown. Wildcard falling flat as a card.
And in front of the home crowd, all rivalries will really come down to this match over here. When's the next chance you're going to have to face off against each other with your own countrymen sitting in front of you, with your own regional supporters sitting in front of you? This might never happen again.
Maybe not in front of their countrymen, but the America's RMR isn't too far away.
You don't have a crowd there.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's in Shanghai.
How much Chinese do you know?
I can't give that one an answer.
Better start learning.
Go.
It's a full eco here for Wildcard. These 2 kills for Slacks are certainly nice.
Swisher. Okay. Fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times for Swisher. And look, it's time to have those fun times. Start to put more pressure onto Wildcard's throats as well. Remember, as much as I might talk about the experience in the hands of Stanislav and Sonic, it doesn't mean that the rest of them quite come in with the same level of relaxation in situations like this.
And when we painted that picture for Wildcard against Odic, you know, it was very much when Stan was making calls, a lot of it was going right, and you have a lot more leeway as an in-game leader when your calls are succeeding. You can actually offer up more sporadic decisions and a lot more variance. This is a nice play out from Friend, though. A good spawn for Long. He challenges past the smoke, and even while Blind catches one, Slacks a missed shot, but he actually gets away. He gets his first, and he's able to get that ult redeployed, even a chance for a third. But there's Sin as well to alleviate all that pressure on short. And it's desperate moves here from Wildcard to get these trades back, but it's Sonic in the clutch. Bomb on back. Link will immediately delete. M80, 5 straight.
I mean, that is just such a disaster. You're climbing up short. You've already got the long pick. You're hoping that reinforcements will be coming out towards long because of where you got the kill on Wreck. You're hoping people will already be there. But Slacks never moved away from Catwalk. He never went out to deploy utility. He said, long be damned, I'm going to just find the one lurker. Turns out there was more than one, right? There was more than one. But guess what? He gets more than one too. And that should never have happened.
But I mean, even from Wildcard's perspective, they would think they should have traded him. You know, there was definitely more than enough of an opportunity to have killed Slacks before he got a second kill. That is an incredibly disappointing round for Wildcard, especially when they go back in with a full buy and they are dispatched as fast as it could have really happened. You know, all the other rounds have been slow developing, and this was actually a chance to change the pace. Only to get trumped by that AWP.
This time it will be Slacks providing a little bit more of assistance. It's Tech9's on the other side. Maybe the scariest weapons of all, and you can see why. They're running down Slacks, but he's more than happy to take the exchange. Molly on a ramp to stop them from speeding up after him, but the flashes are really what are acting as a deterrence.
Yeah, and that smoke on the bomb side as well makes all these gunfights so awkward, but it can allow the Tech9s to get up close and personal.
And in they go. Slacks picks up another one, looking for the repeat, hoping for a flashbang, hoping for a shot, and he's given it all over. Slacks is feeling it. Might not have had the stand-up performance versus Cersei yesterday, but he's here to rectify. Last kill in for him as well. It's the full ace, and it might be against Tech9s, but it started off as a 4 versus 5.
I mean, these were pinpoint accurate shots from Slacks as well. You know, heads offered up on headshot angles. Even though they knew where he was, they couldn't quite deal with him. You know, coming in on a low buy was insufficient, but they really want to be able to cross that gap, trade effectively as they can against an AWP that is pinned into this spot.
That's 3 headshots out of the 5, 2 headshots out of the 5, yeah. Felt like every one of them was a headshot angle, though. Lake takes a tag early on. So at least there is up damage being dealt from either side, but you really, really desperately want the kill.
And I have to say, Slacks, the move that he made to come to North America has done so much for his confidence. You know, this is not the same Slacks that we would have seen so long ago within the German domestic scene. And you see the confidence is brimming off him now, especially after that round he just had.
Wildcard is not going to move past the CT smoke. They had a window to do so, but now with M80 assembling 2 in from behind. Swisher is just hoping to flush out JBA and make sure that they don't have to worry about this side of the map. A redeployment of a smoke into long means that Rek will start to explore, and if Rek pushes, that's exactly what Sonic is waiting for. But the CTs are looking to do the same in through short as well. There's so many angles of aggression that they can take, and a flashbang to start it off. Friend will get the kill nonetheless. Slacks a Molotov that is improperly deployed. There's an angle to move past it, but the other side don't actually want to show it off. Oh. How much presence there is. Good nade, but look at this. Receding backwards, but Sin will quickly regain ground.
Yeah, just re-aggressing into short even after the first one didn't work. They call the bluff of Wildcard that they're looking to reposition and reassert themselves elsewhere. 30 seconds, and Rek, the flash does catch him. Friend there with the trade. Long control permeated now by Wildcard as they look to progress into this A bomb site, but there can be no delay.
A flashbang is perfect. They're peeking out. They're both blind. Sin's got the easiest frags in the world, and Sus will trade for sure. But guess what? The bomb's too far away. Your feet don't move so fast, but your gun might. A one-on-one, but Slacks will never fall.
He is not missing a shot on this AWP. That's where pressure starts to really be felt. M80 gets so many good reactions, some great kills. They read where Wildcard are headed, and it still comes so close. This dry spell for Wildcard on their map pick in the series. I don't know where Stanislaw takes this now.
You'd want to see a timeout called. You'd want to see anything like it. But at the same time, giving M80 the mental satisfaction when they're already on this confidence run. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I don't want to see Wildcard just taken out like this. Resistance has been showcased in individual rounds, but that doesn't make the score up top any less ugly if you're a Wildcard fan. M80 in the meanwhile, they're cruising. They're grooving, and Swish has got the music playing, but little does he know his dance might be coming to an end. No, Lake comes in. He's got a partner to tango with. Stanislaw might respawn, but Lake's still here on the floor. Swisher, a flashbang out, and he's just trying to back off. Not an opportunity to pull out the gun and reload, and it feels like Wildcard's cards have run out. This deck is gone. Lake comes in with another ace.
2 rounds where these star men on M80 have simply demolished Wildcard. And this was a moment where Swisher did get caught out. It wasn't like M80 had this forward-thinking read. A contact play into B. It was certainly a different look, but they just simply couldn't deal with Swisher's position. That Lake reinforcements arrives on time. The man with the big mouth also flexing some big muscles.
And it is terrifying to play up against him like this. In the meanwhile, the double up has been pulled out, and it's Slacks and Sin, both Germans. Hoping to showcase performance, but performance will now go back to the water body, but now it's been dried up. Finally, Lake put down something they hoped to do in the previous round, but guess what? That was a little bit harder. Slacks has to be careful. He's not ready for Stan to already be back in suicide. Advantage found, but can Wildcard do anything with it?
Stanislaw just going to challenge for that smoke. That kill from Swisher is certainly nice. JBA already low health. A quick little tap from Swisher, and he will cede that middle control. I mean, a headshot angle, but clipped his shoulder. Look at the re-aggression, though. M80 are ready to burst and actually deal with Wildcard on short. They know the damage is good, and Sin finally finishes off the meal. Susp, a nice quick burst and a headshot, but comes down to a one-on-one. Bomb still separated from him, and so there's time for Swisher to get a read on this.
Swisher's also got utility as well. It just feels unfair.
He's calling a bluff.
Oh, he's coming in all the way out from long. Sus will figure this one out eventually because he doesn't really have the time on his side. He has to make a move. He has to make a play.
There's
but this is where
Swisher's
veterancy should come in. Susp is terrified.
Yeah, there's so many angles to consider. He could be CT as well. Long might even just be the last thing on his mind.
And the peak might come in before the bomb plant does. Susp is going to be spotted out, but Swisher reveals his position without getting the kill. Susp challenges. It won't be enough. 9 for M80. They're looking good, and they're going to hope to continue that in the second half.
coasting, open, hoping for more. Dreaming, thinking what I have is yours. Realize, recognize 100 times I've cried. Top down, music loud as we cruise at 85. Wondering, is this a dream or a real life? A fantasy is what this feels like. 10 toes down for my baby. This life be driving me crazy. Your friends talk down, it don't faze me. Leaving you alone, well that ain't me. Driving down the boulevard, I see you. Looking, thinking, could it be you? Shopping sprees all on my card. If you let me, I would give it all to you. Driving down the boulevard, I see you. Looking, thinking, could it be you? Shopping sprees all on my card. If you let me, I would give it all to you.
Come now for the world to see. If you wanna get a win, you gotta try to take it back on me. I wonder why it comes as such a surprise. You better stay on your lane, keep your hands off of what is mine. Yeah, you know that I win, and I know that you won't. Maybe you should leave this win alone.
A disastrous first half coming out from Wildcard, and the name of the disaster was Slacks. Turns out there was also a bit of an aftershock. Lake coming in as well, aces on either side, and it feels like M80 can draw nothing but from that deck.
Yeah, the tremors might not only be felt in the server, but in the hands of Wildcard as well. They start 3-0. They don't even get into after plants on that T side. They need to really turn the ship around here on CT.
Maybe it's Sonic the one to stare at home, but Lake has already detected him. No kills found initially. Sus was trying to get aggressive, and he could have a nice little flank inside him, but the problem is it's flanks on flanks, and M80 has dissuaded him from pushing through. Midside will be taken over. Let's not make any mistake about that. M80, however, just want to come through to the B-bombs and overrun it. Sonic will stop that from happening. Stanislaw as well, responding. The veterans putting their heads and hands together. And if there's two players who won't have tremors, Michael, it is these two.
Yeah, they might start to go towards another bomb site, especially with the cold start of JBA. But here in this pistol, Wildcard do convert. They get the first piece of the puzzle on this long track right back. But they cannot just rely on the pistol, the conversion, maybe the anti-force buy. Didn't work in the first half.
Would be very nice to get another 3 rounds in off the back of it. Let's not make any mistakes about it, but that's not the end of the world. M80 has proven that many times over. Slacks, in the meanwhile, I just expect him to hit every shot now, to be honest. I was like, yeah, there's going to be a dead player pretty soon. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this time not an AWP, so...
I have faith. Maybe too much.
Yeah, a man known for his scouting.
You'd say an org known for their scouting too. M80. Coming through over here, showing off who the real young NA talents are. JB still has a chance to turn that fate around over here. CT side, new half, new me. Stanislaw. A little bit more farming doesn't hurt anyone.
I thought you would do more damage there, really.
I think he did too.
You can see that there's still a lot of respect you can give it over to M80. They could have a Hero AK or this dreaded Scout. They definitely know about the Scout purchase. Stanislaw being hyper-mobile with that SMG just to keep tabs on the round and as well make sure that he has an informed decision for how M80 want to finish this one off. It's a bit of a nothing burger, but M80 could still catch them off on a weird timing if they decide to proceed towards a bomb site that Wildcard do not expect. I mean, you can see them split 2 and 2 a pop. Should it be an A-side attack? They play retake, but they've got some good positions here on B.
I am also hoping that no matter what happens over here, we get to see a decent sus performance on the CT side, because that is where he struggled yesterday on Ancient, right? Where, you know, you pointed this out, when people are peeking into him, it felt like he didn't really have full control over everything.
I mean, it was a bit more static, a little less mobile, couldn't take the fights on his terms. Yeah, the struggle was certainly felt. CT side initial defense, maybe a little questionable, but then retakes, game on for sus.
Game on for M80 right now. They're coming through with the full buy. Sure, they're missing a couple of bells, a couple of whistles, but that doesn't mean they can't be pretty damn loud anyway. Early util out from Sonic, just trying to catch Swisher off, hoping that he'd be going for something more staggered, but he's gone for the straight run down towards Xbox. They will be getting fast short control and only have Friend to deal with, a Friend without an op. And no, I'm not talking about Slax's current buy. Oh, Friend! Shows off those headshots, but only just the one. Maybe Swisher can come through and rectify that 1v1 that... Well, he did end up winning, but missed a few shots in that one. Swisher continuing to peek forward, making it look easy. Comfortable sprays in long range, you love to see.
I'm not sure what the plan is here for Wildcard. You know, you come into this round with 3 SMGs, a Scout, and an M4, and you prioritize long control where the fights are not suitable for these SMGs whatsoever. The AKs that are out for M80 simply overpower them in these duels. As soon as they lose Friend, it is definitely a tough task ahead of those long control players to do anything to stop the A-side attack.
The problem is, I think they just weren't ready for how fast Wildcard came up. Sorry, M80 came up short, right? Because they're probably thinking, well, if it's a long rush, we have to fight them, otherwise we lose the round. We're going to come back to short and fight them from there. That's why they're using that delaying utility early on top mid as well, but it just didn't really delay anyone.
Yeah, M80 reading right through it.
Stanislaw hoping to find a quick kill over here, but again, it's just the early aggression not really paying off.
I'm not often critical of bonus rounds, but when you are trailing as heavily as you are in this map, every single decision like that actually could come back to bite you. You opted for Dust2 and were embarrassed in that first half. Still time for Wildcard to wake up.
And I like the idea of potentially sending 2 players to push through long, because Wildcard do need to go for some sort of aggression in the map. They've lost pretty much all map control. They won't be able to defend from a mid to B split if Sonic only has an MP9 and Susp is alone on the B bomb side. It's basically impossible. You don't have a flashbang to push yourself through either unless Sonic is self-deploying. But the problem is you don't have a flash to push forward from long either. So Rek should just be holding this one down, making it look easy, and that's exactly what he does.
Oh, I mean, that second kill is just so clean as well. Full anticipation of a double push. Sax taken down to 1 health, but that is not the full job completed. Rek as well with that long control. It's just so simple here for M80 to proceed into A. Slacks will even manage to get his kill. It's Swisher that bites the bullet.
Looking a little bit untouchable right now, unfortunately. And guess what? You can say the same about Lake. Long range shot. You can see the incredulity on his face. Like, what? You can't kill me? What's going on?
And I love to see all these M80 jerseys in the audience as well. There's clearly support for this team that have served as a bit of a talisman, maybe even a blueprint as well. Wildcard weren't always looking to import players into their own roster in looking towards EU talent. There's a lot of parity now with the way that they've, I guess, restructured. Even bringing in Friend, you know, they have 2 EU players. It's maybe not the player that they would have, I guess, picked first. Obviously, they would have preferred Fozy to be here. But they are clearly looking for that inspiration, that extra firepower, the tenure on these developing players in the EU region. And M80, I think, opened people's eyes to that opportunity again.
Yeah.
It's not the first time North America has tried to import players from the other regions. I still remember way back when Mongolian players were suddenly in the conversation and joining North American organizations. It didn't really pan out, but you saw the potential was out there for projects like it.
And I'm sure Atlanta's very happy about M80 doing what they are, both internationally but also domestically, even if it might hurt a little bit to see them putting Wildcard down the way they have been so far. But Wildcard just haven't really put up showing at all beyond the rounds that they have gotten through pistols. They have found nothing, not a single gun round conversion, not one. Friend. Shots landed. Kills not there, but that one looks a little bit better. Stanislaw takes down Slacks, and they are going to continue to push forward. JBA hoping to end that dry spell, and sure, he might have found a third kill, but that's not much in the grand scheme of things.
It is really kind of eating him alive at the moment. Sonic, a nice kill, but he retrieves the weapon and doesn't continue to proceed. So Rek underneath his angle, but Sonic, a nice quick flick. Even here on this low investment, Wildcard will be able to string a round together. Sonic, a triple kill to get their first here on CT.
Listen, he might not be the same shit talker that he was when he was 16 years old, but right now he can still take heads like the best of them. Sonic has been pretty good consistently all across the event so far, I have to say. He's been a reminder to everyone about what he was doing once upon a time, even on the likes of Cloud9.
Yeah, this is the first proper threatening round that Wildcard have had to dispel here on the defense. You know, pistol conversion, you know, we skirt on by those. And, I mean, given the way the rounds are developing, how close M80 are to closing this map, you needed something like this out of a low investment round. And this is, I mean, to be honest, it's actually exactly what I thought they would do on their bonus round with the SMGs and the Scout. You know, you've got 3 of them. You may as well look to overwhelm and disrupt. But they know that one misstep could cost them this map, and maybe even the series with it.
That misstep won't be coming out from JBA's hand. Sin taken down early on. Friend continues to look to contest in middle, and that's exactly what we want to see, him being unleashed, but that AWP has never really touched his hands on the CT side, and that will continue to be the case if they don't win this one out. 5 versus 4, it's a great start, but they've lost these before. They can't sit comfortable. But neither can M80. They know how quickly these games can devolve into madness. Friend, headshot angle, but not the headshot found. And with short control gain, M80 can at least look to make a play, but they will have to do it with very limited utility.
This A bomb side, the players are on islands, though. It's not like they can provide much support to one another. There's a flash available for JBA, so that could help alleviate some strain, but might be that he's the one targeted instead.
It's a good angle to be in, especially because M80 don't want to be throwing flashes out. They're going for dry peaks, and JBA on the off angle should be finding success. He's good for 2, and that's exactly what you needed. Should be the seal on the round, and M80 are hoping that it doesn't get stamped. It's only Rek who can prevent the wax from being put on the envelope, but JBA is already sending it in. He's a modern man. He's sending emails.
Yeah, fantastic work from JBA, and just calling over Friend, I think, as well. Impeccable timing. A lurk smoke thrown out towards short, and instead of Friend lingering, seeing if he could find a kill around the edge of it, he just reinforced that position that JBA had over at long, and it really just sells the idea that that long control could be taken so quickly in an effort to split this A bomb site. From good timing at the start to just a nice quick comm. A 4K for JBA, considering his, I guess, quieter performance on this map, actually could get the engine roaring.
And that's the first gun round that Wildcard has actually won all game long, funnily enough. And now they get themselves that nice little bonus, courtesy of the force spy earlier on that weakened M80's economy. And this is always the problem of losing to force spies, right? You can get into a position where very quickly you're one more gun round away from equalization. That's a nice shot. Yeah, and it's very nice.
Really trying to get information on how Friend is going to be playing a lot of these rounds as well. His position seems to be changing. You know, that's the advantage of being an AWPer. You can float, and often, you know, they even talked about it on the desk, the idea that Sonic and Stanislaw have played so many different positions. If Friend wants to go for a different type of play, they will be happy to fill in the gaps. Stanislaw, a nice set of kills, in fact, quick headshots, but one is thrown right back his way, and JBA can't handle the Deeg himself. Still a 2-on-3. Weapons are going to be difficult to recover, but it may not matter. Sin is just finding head after head here with this Deagle, and Rex also found one on the Scout. 1 HP on Sonic, and he has to come in clutch here for Wildcard, but Rek will also give him a short-lived endeavor on the retake. It is just coming on these low buys, but Wildcard get one. M80 answer with one themselves.
That's basically an eco. They didn't have armor. Slacks is the one who buys the Scout. He doesn't get a single kill. It's a 2v5. That is nuts. Stanislaw feels like everything's been done, but then Sin's Deagle comes in and Rex finisher. Right when you think you're safe, the German surprise in Sin shows up to party. And ain't no party like a German party. Slacks then comes up, shows up, and shows Suspop. Friend will be able to respond short with a B bomb that has already been penetrated. That bomb all the way back and spawned, so Rek will have to do it with violence instead.
Yeah, minor fumble there from Slacks, could have escaped. But they do secure some pathways into this B bomb site. The tunnels is fully controlled here by M80. Just they left the bomb in spawn, so quite a long road to get that bomb planted. Leaves a lot of guessing work here for Wildcard, because they're thinking they take the site, but they're not actually making any moves from it. It is silence here on B, but everyone waiting in anticipation of what the next step is. A fresh smoke that blooms, and that will give a bit more affirmation here to Wildcard that this B bomb site is going to be the end target.
There's 2 more smokes available as well. This is not going to be an easy retake. You don't have a grenade to blow them open. Stanislaw needs to be fast-footed and find the frag on a Swisher, but Swisher's got an AWP as well, and Friend might be looking for cheeky angles, sure, but I don't know if there's anything to find through them. It all comes down to Stan, and Swisher should be hearing him come through. The nade call has been given over. Stan gets the frag, but Lake's nade will do the same, and Rek, who has been on this site from the very start, brings it back to a 2-on-2. Lake to give advantage, Rek to give win, and M80 take it away.
Fantastic work throughout all of these gun rounds. M80 just showing and asserting dominance on Wildcard's pick in the series. The house of Wildcard comes crumbling down atop of them. And now we'll have to see how they do on Anubis, the pick of M80 in this series, to see if they even stand a chance of continuing in Atlanta. Challenger Atlanta, one American team into the playoffs is guaranteed, and M80 one notch in their belt for it.
2 more to go, and you can see the odds really don't favor Wildcard, but they want to try and fight up against them. Stanislaw lies in wait, and he's hoping that M80 is going to get exploratory down middle. He's just wanting information. This is not an angle where you look for a kill with a Glock, I can tell you that much, but he sees the elbow jiggle a few times over. You never know what you're going to get away with.
A very slow developing pistol. Definitely something that we're taking away from Stanislaw so far at this event. They like to run on this slow pace. But it does mean that there's a lot of information denied here by M80. A lot of emphasis thrown towards middle, which will mean these bomb sites are ripe for the picking.
And you might want to try and play it slow, but you really need to speed things up as far as just getting yourself into the game early on. M80, they lost out both pistol rounds in the previous one, but it doesn't really matter.
This flank from Lake, it actually could be so well timed. They're just starting to line up this attack on B, and he finds that first kill. It throws chaos into the comms of Wildcard, but they do deal with that site anchor. They just know their back's exposed.
And everyone else is going to be incredibly slow to rotate back in, so CT's been taken control of. It's going to be both Lake and Slacks coming in from behind, but they might be unpleasantly surprised to see that their teammates might be falling, but shots being missed, and JBA, maybe some nerves coming into play, and really after the previous game, you could say that's almost guaranteed.
Smoke.
There's no kit, but there is the smoke, and trying to stick inside. of it is Rek. Then this is the real chaos in the comms. They cannot locate Rek. They cannot shoot him down. You might get his teammates, but you can't get the diffuser. M80 steal that pistol round.
Oh, because that flank came in so quickly, they don't even plant properly for CT. As soon as they deal with that man from long, they think they can take that deep control. And to be honest, it's as though M80 were fine to play around with it because they knew they had that smoke. That little off-axis diffuse from Rek, so important in keeping himself alive as well for the full 10-second stick. So damn close, and you know, you're right on the money. Wildcard, they can play these slow rounds, but they cannot continue to go on these late timings because M80 are not going to simply sit and let a Wildcard always operate on their own time schedule.
Sin in the meanwhile, early tags coming out courtesy of Friend Scout. He was really unable to get an op for a lot of that Dust2 CT sign, so I do feel like we haven't seen the best from him. And Anubis might not be as op conducive as Dust2, but it's not like there aren't a lot of plays you can't make with that weapon, even of a hair.
Yeah, map where we've seen many an op highlight, funnily enough. Even with all the close range angles. There are just so many bits of cover that you can play around with. Really an emphasis on how smooth you move.
And Lake is such an incredibly important piece, especially of this Inferno, but Rek is no different. His A-side anchoring lets Lake be a lot more flexible and free around the map. This combination don't really play bomb sites together, but they play off of each other from across the map regardless. And they do it very well, and look at this, the aggression now comes through. Wildcard's force buy feels like it's just being pinched upon. They've already lost 2 members without getting really even information of what's going on in the bomb site. A flashbang to push through, but Lake is gone, and that MP9, there goes Swisher. Sweeping them all away, but it's still back to a 2-on-2. Somehow Susp has found him, and with Friend USB sticking in and taking Swisher out, it's only Sin left. Sin gets a sideline, but he can't get the kill too quickly. Instead, with 10 seconds, Wildcard are running out of time. Friend can't figure out what to do. He's down low on HP, and it's Sin's USB that should put him to bed, and indeed it does. M80 looked like they were going to lose control, but they restabilized.
Yeah, Susp getting those 2 kills so quickly. It was a very desperate move there from Sin to just move past that smoke, but they treated it as a wall there on Wildcard, given all the chaos. Maybe just hoping that rotate hadn't come in on time, but again, it's another instance where Wildcard are busy setting up, and in the meanwhile, M80 have found this time to flank. 2 rounds straight where they've been shot in the back for the opener.
I mean, the fact that you take that 3 versus 5 and you bring it back to a 2v2, a 1-on-1 is impressive, don't get me wrong. So Wildcard going back into this with the force buy, you can see where they're coming in from, but it's not going to be easy. Utility is atrocious. And one of the things that makes B-sides so difficult to defend is the theoretical idea that you can just be completely utiled out of every single position. And with the prioritization on Galils and AKs, that's just not going to be an option.
Yeah. Such an important map for Wildcard. They wouldn't have wanted to start their campaign like this. Already coming in on extenuating circumstances. Fielding Friend, but they have found ways to win. They need to dive deep into the pocket now. Great flash timing. Rek just set up for a flash himself, but there's Sin to try and get that trade. Susp the double. And even with those 2 kills towards A, there is no immediate move from Wildcard to accelerate. They're anticipating and playing ahead of the rotation, and they've gone and turned the other cheek.
And M80 at this point might even need to start considering the save. Lake is the only conversation you can have against it as he starts to make his way back over, but a smoke will interrupt his play back into the bomb set, and as he recedes, it's gun bullets chasing him down, forcing him off. The problem is, even saving these weapons just feels kind of bad. You're taking 2 MP9s forward into the next round. Sure, it's better than nothing, but M80, that previous round and the consequences for letting that 5-on-3 go down as low as it did is going to be very real.
Yeah, absolutely. It may not feel good to save these weapons, but it's better than the buy they'll get should they lose all these guns. So a great job from Wildcard setting up and attacking one extremity of the map and just making use of the quick rotations that are available via those canals.
And it is nice to see them try and isolate out that A fight, and I'm wondering if that ends up being the case more and more later on as well, because Rek is honestly really good at holding off the angle, but because of that, M80 also tends to leave him alone more often. And yes, that's definitely something that a lot of teams do to their Anubis A-side players, but considering that then across the rest of the map, the more Rek is pressured, the more the rest of the players want to make a move. It leans into Wildcard slow style of play. Oh, those nades are fantastic, by the way. Rek and Swisher are not feeling good at all.
Yeah. I don't even know how they've managed to take as much damage as that, but all the meanwhile, Swisher getting himself into B main, a chance for a kill, but there's a trio of frags that happen in sync here for Wildcard. So they'll just make quick work of this B bomb site and call it a day. The saved weapons don't bear a lot of impact for M80.
The great news for Wildcard, beyond the fact that they're actually winning gun rounds, is that Susp is alive now. Because as much as the point of criticism might have been JBA in that previous map, and rightfully so, right? He was 1-8 at some point, really didn't have a good game. Susp wasn't the standout man.
Yeah.
And there will always be that extra pressure on him. He is the import. He is that European rifler coming in to take maybe a local talent spot. You need to show up.
It's also the validation you'd get in making the right roster move for yourself. You know, to take the risk and go over to another continent.
And it's such a stark contrast too, right? I mean, he goes from a fully national team. He's not even in an international lineup like it. He's changing the language that he's speaking. He's changing his continent. He's changing all of his culture. And he needs to find success. It's a massive risk to his own career at this point. If he doesn't do so, you can't come back to Europe and say, well, I was okay in America.
Yeah, it doesn't quite bear the same weight to it. And I think as well, we've seen these players that do take that risk develop, whether it's actually going over to Asia in Fozy, the AWPer that Friend replaces, or whether it's Slacks in his journey to North America. Triple nade lined up there by Wildcard, but one did miss the mark. Doesn't seem it's going to be of much consequence. Everyone lined up at B, and they do swarm towards the canal. Susp unable to control his spray to even get one in that duel. But that gun is very far away, still playing the smoke, and it's so perfect. Two quick kills come in from M80 right off the get-go. And JBA is now going to be the one thrown under the microscope. It is definitely labored. He takes the dink. He's down to 4 HP. But they don't stick around to see if JBA can get control for a second.
I can't watch. Please don't lose another anti-eco. Wildcard, I'm begging you.
This one would certainly feel bad. I mean, just one M4 was brought forward.
Stanislaw is stabilizing, but the problem will always be JBA's HP, and it feels like you do kind of want to save these M4s and the rifles on the ground, and as Slacks tries to pick it up, Stan is here to pressure and punish.
Feels like what was happening against Odik as well. You know, Wildcard were getting these awkward situations against low buys, and then you can rely on Stan or Sonic usually to get a couple of kills right back.
All right, bomb is planted, and there's...
Bomb is planted.
The nerves. The nerves. It's okay. We're fine. There's a case to be made to just go back and try and save these weapons, and I hope that M80 does go for it, but also the kind of damage you can deal to the T side is significant. You will have a buy in the next round regardless. It will just be a little bit better, maybe. The thing right now is also, when I see Sonic down 0-4, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I know he's going to show up again way later on, right? And this is one of the big differences between sort of Tier 2 lands and Tier 1, which is that in Tier 1, it's concerning if anyone at all is offline, because then that normally means that they're having a bad case of form. Very often on this level, I mean, I personally think JBA was probably having a case of the nerves in that previous map more than anything else. I'm not expecting that from Sonic.
Yeah, and you can't get caught up in your feelings like that. You know, even for a Wildcard, they've played this matchup before, many times online. It's not like M80 are any strangers to them. Wildcard definitely need to channel that energy. And so nice that there is some energy in the crowd as well for these local heroes.
Some smiles out there, and maybe there's a lot to be smiling for, but I will say that round did make me
a little nervous, perhaps.
A little bit scared.
Yeah. How do you think they felt?
Terrified?
Yeah, maybe.
But the good thing is you do have Stan the talisman. Because it really is, every single comms video we've seen from him, Stan is always chill. He's relaxed. Nothing will phase me. I am Zen.
Raising my voice. What's that? But if there was ever time to make noise for Wildcard, this could be their last appearance on the stage. They definitely need to answer back here on this map, finding 3 rounds at the start. It can't all be M80 fans in the crowd.
Give us a little bit of cheering for Wildcard as well, because they certainly might need it, being down a map, but they're looking to start this one off strong. 3-2 right now, and with Slacks as op not on the field, maybe there's a world where this round could be easier than some of the other ones. Still a lot to deal with, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And even with the interview, you know, Sonic saying that they might have to play a bit more of a puggy style. They, I mean, by and large, are still playing out structured game. And, you know, he gives us a very informed and a very accurate answer in that they're deviating, but not drastically from the system that they've developed.
Lakes also had a bit of a slower start, both him and Rek sitting on just the 1 kill, and it's early days again. So it's not too concerning, but it's something to watch out for and see whether they both could maybe try and make a move to change that. That can come back to haunt you, though.
Yeah, Lake, I mean, he's in the most star position on this map. Be connector as that secondary anchor and also one that can challenge and stop rotations, but he gets burned to a crisp. It's just great util and fast-paced aggression in from JBA. Even Swisher will deny the kill, just is immediately letting loose of that grenade. The damage from JBA was enough. But that B bomb site crumbles so quickly. M80 just calling the save.
And this is the problem, is that because of how slow Wildcard is playing, M80 can't really make a move. They also can't really get information out. Normally, you'd hope that Slacks would be able to get an off-peak forward with a flashbang or two, because that's sort of the role that he has started to fulfill on this team. But right now, both him and Sin seem so mitigated. And I mean, if you go back towards M80 and their campaign at Pro League, it came to an end versus MIBR. And Slacks, as Sin will be finding more damage, the hunt is on, and Rek might be able to do the same over here. Indeed, he does. But Slacks said in an interview afterwards, in the post-game interview, that, oh, well, we just felt like we were making decisions a little bit too slow. So that is potentially there for M80, and that generally on Anubis happens when there's maps where Lake doesn't feel like he's able to have input, because he's a very vocal part of this team. He's very clearly a secondary caller in the mid round who's able to make his own place, and the team crafts themselves around him. It's a lot of pressure for someone who spent so little time on this team and who really has spent so little time on the international waters of Counter-Strike, but it's pressure he's normally taken on his shoulders very comfortably so.
It's also kind of the ego you want from a star player, and I mean, Lake definitely has that.
That's what we were looking for before. Slacks takes down Friend. The aggressive peek out middle because they don't smoke it off. Friend was hoping to find contest in his own favor, but Sonic reminds everyone that he too once wielded the big green.
It's a great kill to find back.
Oh, the nade as well.
Right on the money. Sonic, the deterrent of these German imports.
He really is Wildcard's hedgehog. You put a hand on the team and suddenly, that pricked me. What's going on?
Could still get a little weird here for Wildcard. Quick and early kill, especially towards middle. It's something that can be compensated for by M80, but there's aggression on one of the extremes. Swisher is getting a lot of information for this M80 squad, and as they clear out B, I mean, they're going to heavily reinforce this A bomb site.
He's going to miss the timing, and unless he goes back to bridge right now, it's going to be very difficult to do too much. Wildcard don't have the time to slow down, and Rek's the one who's making them. He will end up dying to the Molotov, but it feels like he's bought enough time for Swisher to now become relevant. Swisher should find this kill over here, and indeed he does, despite JBA starting to get conscious about the possibility of a flank coming through. It really does feel like Rek has saved the round for M80. Wildcard, their last man standing, will not be standing for long. A watery grave for Stanislaw.
Yeah, I mean, this ghost in Swisher just haunting them from behind. JBA killed from one angle, and then the immediate reposition is just fantastic there from Swisher. Just seen some nice positional play from him, really. A lot of sort of risk limitation that he seems to take in these late rounds. He knows not to give many of these players on Wildcard an opportunity to fight back, but that heroic play from Rek, he knew he was going to get mollied out, and if he tried to jump off of the platform, likely to simply go down by the presence of those two players, but it's a fantastic shooting.
Clax, in the meanwhile, is right back out to exploring. Remember, he found that early kill before and right now had a chance. Pulls his knife out. Spent all that money for a reason. He wants to see that skin.
It just becomes slow revelations in so many of these rounds. Is M80 going to find the right timing to strike? Will Wildcard? All of it does just revolve around the clock. It is basically as close as you can get to full in-game leader versus in-game leader reads on the map.
Stanislaw is hoping to find Sin out. Sin only thinks there's one player here because of the exchange with JBA earlier on. Stanislaw was going for that exact exchange before as well. And although Sin was worried about a peek, he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, just such a confident swing there from Stanislaw. And it's going to really cause some problems in through mid. It has not been picked up appropriately. Oh my goodness, they'll have absolutely no idea. The jiggle peeks in from that A bomb site didn't reveal this flank available. Slacks pushing forward and further inside of the connector, but Stanislaw is activated on B, and Slacks misses his shot, but there's that reinforcement from the A side push. Slacks has to be that stopping power that prevents them from getting access to the site, but the smoke that blooms at his feet, it's Lake that takes the fight in Temple, but Stan goes in for a triple. 5 HP on the in-game leader, but he's the one that does all the heavy lifting.
That is such a fun play from putting JBA in his own position to keep Sin unaware and then taking control of the map. Of course, M80 still felt like they were able to get a sideline in through camera. It was just too late. Stan had already moved past it and comes in with the flank. That round is all him, and despite Slacks' best efforts, despite Rek coming in and coordinating very effectively to find that Canal's lurk as well, it was too late.
Yeah. And especially, I think the nameplate is definitely important. You know, had JBA gotten that kill up close, there was a very likely possibility the A player is a little bit more committed to the duel, trying to prevent any extra space taking, but wasn't expecting Wildcard to just walk across the sight line.
He's so chill as well immediately after that one. If there's one thing I know, Stan is always cool.
Just such a veteran-level decision there from Stan.
And the thing is, this is about the time where I start to wonder whether M80 are going to program a play for Lake, because so far we've seen Lake displaced away from Dark a couple of times over as well. We've not seen him getting aggressive even once so far. It feels like Swisher obviously went for the early info play. Lake's not had anything set up for him.
Yeah. I think the problem, though, is that, like you talked about earlier, the fact that Wildcard are playing such a slow game, going for early round aggression is kind of exactly what's tailored to that slow style.
But does that mean you just lean into it and let them play their game completely, right? That's always the question on your mind. And what is the response going to be? This is your last gun round before Wildcard maybe just push for 7. Last through. It's time, but Friend is watching out for this exact play to be made, but the smoke has bloomed and Lake could even think about going past it. No, he reveals position, and Sin needs to be worried because they are once again taking fast control of middle. Stanislaw has caught a taste of blood and he wants more of it.
Yeah, he's really put Sin on notice. I mean, Sin really not sticking around for that one-on-one. Maybe not expecting it to be as limited as that.
The other concern is that Rek doesn't have any backup because of how preoccupied Sin is with this. So Rek won't have a flashbang. He's spotted out on the jump. They know he's trying to play close, and this is where Sin really needs to put his head together. But where's the stopping power? Where's the utility? The mollies might not be enough. They just fight from inside of it. Sonic will die eventually, but now Susp has taken too much damage.
This angle from Rek is so good, though. It's going to be impossible to read, especially with Slacks taking all the attention. Friend hightailing it away back through that smoke with the bomb. Rek kept tabs on A main that whole time, and so now with his re-aggression, Friend may be caught completely unaware. Yes, it's such a deep position already taken up. Great reposition, the stalling util out from M80 as well. Even with that initial catch out inside of A main, that I guess speed up that Wildcard had planned, trumped by great grenade usage.
Unfortunately, Slacks finding the kill on the JB over there meant that they could start vacating away from the B bomb site a lot earlier on. Despite the fact that they didn't have mid control, it makes rotation just so much easier. Otherwise, you're always thinking, oh, Stan could be here, etc., etc., etc. But when there's not the potential of a pincer, you're okay. Friend, though, now getting aggressive early on. The shoulder's not enough, and Sonic's Deagle is. It's a tough buy, but it's a weaker weapon to find the first.
Oh my goodness, they blow open the smoke, and Sonic finds another. Shoulder to shoulder there with Suspin. It's a double kill off of the aggression that M80 had lined up themselves. Sin does get one before they break B, but they have to try and bring this back 2 versus 5. This was not a pristine buy. 4 rounds straight for Wildcard, and they were on the cusp of having their money shattered. Would have opened the door wide open for M80 to recover this CT half.
This is why I wasn't concerned that Sonic hadn't put up the numbers, because you know he's going to have a round in him where he flips it on its head. That first kill on the wreck, that's crucial. And M80, they served themselves up on a silver planet.
Yeah. This is the thing, they're always looking for counter reactions. You know, we've seen many times already where Wildcard have been shot in the back of the head, even if there's players in front of them. And that was the counter reaction. You know, lose some A-side pressure, you have to get some information in towards those canals, maybe even take it from the Ts. I'm not saying that that had to be the exact reaction, but it's what M80 opted for, and it turned to be a poor choice.
And the thing is, for Wildcard, this is also still great because there's still a chance to potentially reset CT economy over here if you kill everyone, right? 6 rounds is already fantastic on the T side, given the sort of half they were having on Dust2 when they were on their own T side, right? You pointed this out to me, Michael, that they didn't get a single post plant after the first 3 rounds, and that one, not a single bomb down. So already you can see the changes coming in. Maybe just shedding off some of those initial game 1 nerves is enough.
Be so much easier to back that philosophy and that idea if we had those traditional stars show up. So far, not so great. Slack's a nice opener, and Rek playing that close range angle as well. They are maintaining their setup. And they call the bluff that mid will be unoccupied, but Rek rounds the corner with a smoke out, so it's free pickings there for Susp.
Big punish. All of Slack's hard work initially just goes to naught, basically. You don't have anyone to be able to get aggressive on outside of B either. Swisher wants to play a bit more defensively, and with Wildcard still having Stanislaw threatening out a mid push with a smoke in his hand, he's going to redeploy. Actually, no, that's out towards the front of Connector. No, Ninja smoked off. Okay, that's a fun one.
Angle limitation. Frank can just hold the re-aggression. Swisher doesn't want to fly blind in defense of that bomb site, and they had already cheated rotations to defend A. Stop any progress in from mid here to Lake.
You have to save. It feels like you just have to. I know it's a 3-on-4, but to try and commit and lose everyone might be to lose the entire game over here. But Sin is certainly showing off his position. Stan is though. That's not a fun angle with the Mac-10, Stan.
This retake is on. Absolutely. They have a kit available. They have Molotovs as well. They have a couple of flashes. They could really line this up to be uncomfortable for the Wildcard defense.
They don't want to give them 7 for free, but with the flashes going in, you still have to move past the AWP of Friend, and he is at a very difficult to deal with angle, but if he misses the shot, then you've dealt with him there, and then JBA, back of the bomb site, now standing loud.
And that's exactly what I wanted. You know, when we're talking about Wildcard and the composure, shaking off those game 1 nerves, I want JBA at the forefront of that action. He has had misses versus M80 so far in this tournament. That first map was not a great display either, but now in a post-plant 3-on-3, he finds and it just rips off 2 heads immediately. A very successful T-side campaign already here from Wildcard. This slow pace, it is paying dividends. M80, all they save is the gun that started the round.
Yeah. And he's going to need to do a lot more. Poor Slacks has found opening kills from every single part of the map where it feels like you can.
Yeah, where next?
His form hasn't really taken a dip from Dust2, but it's just not as much to do over here. And unfortunately, Lake has still been quite quiet on the CT side. 2-7 right now.
It's about the worst thing that can happen to a CT side as well. These rounds have been sporadic from M80. Win the pistol and win a gun round, lose the next, win the next. So they are able to get a couple of rifles around that AWP, some util alongside it as well, but they're still, I mean, they're short-changed for this last round of the half.
Sin also feels like even if he has gotten some of the numbers, he's never really had full control over middle. And again, it's just credit out to what Wildcard has been doing.
The amount of conditioning that has been set. Lake has been nullified in this defense.
Push might be coming up from Slacks, and we've asked how many angles he can find an opening pick with. It feels like he wants one more. The deep nade keeps Dust low, and Lake is going to have an easy one. But the flash, it connects regardless. Lake is going to have a little bit more space to move back with. Doubling up inside Dark feels like it's a perfect play because you've also got the same in A main, and Sonic, who's looking to re-aggress into it, is going to have to do so without a flashbang unless Dust is the one to turn around and throw it in. The smoke means that you have to deploy. The grenades aren't really gone deep enough, and it feels like you've already lost this round. Wildcard are lost. They're headless. And they can't do the same to their opponents. Still 2 players to move past, and Lake has been stopped immediately. Swisher up next, gets the double. The MP9 comes alive, swings out and clears it all. 5 for M80. They get bare minimum as they move to that second half.
Title, no time to idle. I'm finna get it, put that on the Bible. This is survival. Gotta treat every move made like the final. 1 by a mile. Nobody believe it, they all in denial. Hey, look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since Auto. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out and flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Get it, don't mind it. Ay, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Ay, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Ay, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe, I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say, if you ain't gonna go for it, get out the way. Got no time to waste. Can't be with me if you're not at my pace. You're not at my level, you're not in my race. 1 foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah. Get it, don't mind it. I gotta get it, don't mind it. I gotta get it, don't mind it.
Just got the news that you're still in town, looking for a safe place to hide. Well, you better close your window and lock the door, 'cause I'm gonna get you tonight. And I know where you are, so look sharp, 'cause here I come, I'm close, so get ready.
Atlanta, this could be your last All-American half, and let's get that All-American hope together for Wildcard and M80. Wildcard hoping to take it to map number 3, give you guys a little bit more zest to already a nice little recipe that we've got going on between them.
And just a nice tactical counter-strike. It is a battle of brains here on the stage, here on the map that could eliminate Wildcard. They go in with that 7-5 half, but they need amount of successful defense. Anubis, a T-sided map. And M80 right now unchecked in the way they start this pistol. They go slow, but they start creeping into this B bomb site that has been left wildly vacant.
The retake will have to come without a kit over here as well. Wildcard really putting all their eggs in the fish site basket. Eggs and fish don't go well together unless you cook them first. So in this round, that's not been cooked up very well from Wildcard. They're taking their time to come back over to the site itself. They will have a flash and a smoke and a sus to try and aggress, but that smoke timing from M80 is fantastic. Sin's found Stan as he tries to push forward. Lake will do the same, and it's all coming up orange.
Yeah, I mean, this decision to go for such a quick stack just seemed like they had a hard read or some kind of anti-strat, but it is simply not the case. You wouldn't go for a play like that, full retake of a bomb site, if you didn't have a smoke and a kit or something in that along those lines. But they had a smoke flash. They didn't have kits available on that wildcard side. So misinformation may be plaguing their CT pistol. Before they know it, that B-bomb site is completely overwhelmed, and there's util at their feet. That's why they're trying to challenge through these smokes. They know that time was of the essence. That one will definitely feel a little bad for Wildcard.
Especially after that first pistol round as well. It's just Rek retaking all on his own, right? Smoke down, gets a full defuse out. Maybe they're just hoping to do the same.
Yeah.
If they can get a 10-second defuse, we can do it.
Yeah, but they were aggressive.
We don't talk about that part.
It's a team-building exercise now for Wildcard.
Yeah.
Trying to build good communication and chemistry, teamwork.
And most importantly, cheerleaders.
Corporate buzzwords.
Now listen, they've at least put themselves on the right site. This could be a little bit more damage being dealt. This could be a little bit more money taken forward just based off of kills. And that's something we forget.
Yeah, the problem will be that Rek is going to be that first one in, and he's going to spot everybody and send his team the other direction. You see the immediate retreat. Slack's even actually taking the challenge, but
they're not retreating. I'll let you know that.
I mean, Rek immediately backed off. He took a headshot, but everyone else wanted a piece of the pie.
You need to understand, this was the call. Sin had programmed this, right? Rek, if you see 5 people, let Lake get the kills because he's having a bad game.
Also, you know, SMGs want to farm out money, and that's the primary objective. You want that SMG to pay for itself.
All right, we hear a little bit of wooing going on. Feels like we might have more M80 fans in Wildcard, I'll be honest.
I think that is definitely the case. M80 are local hero invite to this tournament. And they are getting all that love and support. Already a map to the good, and now equalizing to that 7-7 scoreline. They will be challenged versus the Wildcard full buy. But I think one of the problems that you'll have always on Wildcard is that your options will be limited. You need Molotovs, you need incendiaries to actually enable a lot of aggressive moves, even sort of mid to late round aggression.
It's true, but you also need to make an aggressive move regardless when you're like this. You don't have a kit, and Sonic just peeks out with Susp. Exactly what you needed. Starts off in a 5-on-3, and because it's dropped the bomb, M80 also can't try and get a fast trade response either. Swisher's been smoked off on the B bomb site, and one thing that they didn't really lose out too much on was smoke. So Sonic, aggressive again, and this is what I mean. Sonic comes through in critical rounds, starts to lead aggression when he needs to the most. He's not afraid.
Yeah, good recognition of exactly what they needed to do to catch M80 out. Just as the smoke was about to bloom inside of Connector. Just incredible timing. Still 2-on-4, and a plant in towards this A-bomb site. A Molotov down that they're looking to double challenge into. The lineup was certainly there, and Rek able to convert on the double kill, but there's Friend, that third man waiting in the wings to guarantee a trade. No problems here for Wildcard. First gun round on the board, and M80 a little soured by the double aggressive move through Con and B main all the same.
Oh, look, there is a bright side. The bright side is that you do get them down to 2 players and you get the bomb plot in, so you still have a chance of resetting money. But the less bright side is the fact that you did also lose out to 2 players dry peeking you from Connector.
Yeah. Well, they threw a smoke, so, you know, maybe it could have been seen as a flash. At that distance, you don't really hear the audibles as clearly as well.
This is the most copium. It's true.
Yeah, these are small micro
true.
decisions that every player has to make. Is that a flash? Do I need a turn? Is it a smoke? And should I be paying attention? And and, well, M80 actually just couldn't hit their shots when they were presented with fights. This is a very brave decision from M80.
I love it. Swisher knows that Friend is there. Oh, Friend is gone! Swisher also realizes that there's multiple players likely inside dark because the rest of the side is empty and Friend was setting up a util. They pop open the smoke to provide a bit more threat, and Lake's cleared it out from close range. So even if the CTs wanted to return, that nade is good. But can they move into the site? Do they have any room to do so? Lake's back in, but another nade right to his feet will not matter. Lake's found it, traded away, sure, but advantage maintained by M80. Advantage lost now. Susp is the one to provide damage and death. Slacks missing a shot that is critical, and they do have a kit this time over, don't forget. Slacks smoked off, already having lost his teammate. 4 on 5 or not, Wildcard will recover.
Yeah, great job from Sus throughout. I mean, even with them being smoked off inside of Connector, just constantly applying that pressure, the util was great. Even the trade into Lake that was playing around that smoke. He waited long enough for JBA to be close by. They had util available for that post plant. They never gave up. Even with that first entry being so swift and easy there for M80, the deep control that Slacks could have actually allowed for them. Well, it starts off as a 3 on 5, but the 4K from Susp is very well placed. 17 and 10 is our solitary Swede.
Okay. That's what I want to see. Friend getting involved as well. Obviously, he did have a couple of head-to-heads with Slacks and Dust2 Round over here that didn't necessarily go in his favor, but it doesn't matter if you're the standard or not. The freedom of an AWP is unchallenged once it gets going.
Another kill there for Friend, and is accompanied by JBA in his attempt to pick towards A. No problems dealing with these Deegs.
Just don't lose another 2v5 to the Deagles, guys.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking for. Swisher wants to deliver what only the Germans have so far, and maybe it is him to take the mantle on, but it's such a heavy mantle to bear. Damage is decent and Friend is low. The bomb will be planted, nothing to prevent it. And suddenly things are shaping out to look a little bit more challenging. Now remember, Stan is going to be late to the party, and that's what they're waiting for. They don't want to get the music going before he's here, but the rest of the CTs are also taking their sweet time, and Sin tries to take that sweet duel. Doesn't really find it, so Swisher, this is a bit much to ask for. The ace clutch with the Deagle.
This would have to be outrageous, and they're sticking that bomb. The lineup isn't too far off the mark, and the bullets are just skirting on by for that defuse. But he opens up a hole, and he gets them off the defuse. They have a kit on Susp, though. They have a kit on Stan. It is definitely far closer than this round ever should have been. I got worried. You said don't lose another 2 versus 5, but they come damn close.
I was biting my nails, I'm not gonna lie.
The first person to stick it 10-second defuse? Are you insane?
Well, listen, Insanity fortunately does not prevail, and it is double digits for Wildcard. They are potentially going to be able to return the favor delivered to them, but M80 get the bomb plant. Let's not forget that. That's crucial. They also keep the CT economy a little bit more honest, so there's always going to be that chance if you start to mount a comeback to reset it completely. And even though we're all happy that Wildcard is just getting these rounds, you also have to keep in mind that's 3 defusals in a row, right? That's 3 rounds where you've lost a lot of personnel. These are not clean rounds. It's the activation of 1 or 2 players who could change it around. And unfortunately, right now, it's your best performing riflers historically who are littering the bottom of the scoreboard. Both Sin and Lake have been heavily mitigated.
Yeah, it's what can be really turbulent as well about that CT side. As soon as the success for M80 is actually converted upon, suddenly the gap is closed very quickly. M80 have won both pistols in this map, but Wildcard is setting the record straight as soon as they get onto rifles. Another string of 3 rounds. Last half, they were able to pull together 4. Aggro move again.
And Slacks is now caught between 2, and that means Sus might even have a chance to be able to back off. Sorry, Sonic might have a chance to be able to back off, and indeed he does. He goes all the way into the B site, and Stanislaus never really receded, so he'll hear Lake dropping down if that's going to be the call.
Yeah, there's a smoke down inside of the connector as well, even if he did drop. No fight available, no sight line. Doesn't want to give that sound cue over. But Wildcard willing to play within the bomb sites. Slow builder, but they've got more than enough utility to take one of these sites with an execute.
And Friend has started to rotate over too, so even if they have the utility, Friend actually provides a lot of stopping power, not just with the AWP, but also with the grenade and the Molotov. Time's running down low. There's 45 seconds. The longer you wait, the more useful this is going to be. JBA is set up for success. He won't really have too many flashes to help out, but he just pushes through. Friend trades himself, but Stanislaw does the same. And you're down to a 2-on-4. Swisher wants to be a hero again. And although he put on his cape before, he wasn't able to fly away. M80. Bring it back down to even. And with Sonic Glow from the earlier exchange, it might just be in their favor.
They get out through camera. They waited for the plant. They waited for them to be preoccupied, punching in those digits, but it was a free kill. Swisher low health, and they can't quite connect on the shots. It's Sonic that finally finishes the job. Susp the high ground, but Slacks has his dreaded AWP, but Susp is just too damn quick. It was a quick turnaround there from Swisher, but Susp dispels any chance for M80 to break that streak. Wildcard, 11 rounds. 2 more needed to force us into a third in the series.
I mean, Friend and Stanislaw finding kills while blind is just unfortunate. I don't know how blind they were, right? I mean, the UI always shows you a little bit more than maybe it is, but at the same time, bringing it back from the 2-on-4 as well, just not being able to convert, and again, unfortunately, when rounds are this close, 4 rounds in a row, the question will always be asked, who's missing?
But it was a great forward decision as well. They started with 3 towards that B bomb site, 2 on A, and just as the A side executes coming their way, they actually pull that extra man over in time. Had Stanislaw not been there, had Friend not been there, suddenly the pace through which M80 would have taken that bomb site, the control they could have gotten as well, would have been maybe even kind of an insurmountable task for a retake. And
you can see the contrast in how the CT sides are being played. Unless it was Slacks holding an AWP coming through from M80. We've seen it almost every time now from Wildcard. Every time it feels like they're in a pinch, that's what they go for, and they make it work. Sonic and Susp are the ones featured in most of it, if not all.
Yeah, sometimes it's a bit of yin and yang. You know, you have to be aggressive when the other team is being aggressive, and sometimes in the more defensive positions, you actually can be a little bit more greedy with your utility. You can play a little bit more defensive inside of sites. But, I mean, the big advantage that the Wildcard had is because of that aggression, they find that opener, and it just becomes that much more threatening to move into a B-bomb site that you already had guarantee of 2 players, and maybe not even guarantee on how much damage was done to Sonic in the exchange, given that there was a lot of tagging through walls. The fight was awkward.
And Atlanta, I know you guys might have been wooing for Wildcard earlier on, but everyone wants to see a third map over here. Wildcard hoping to deliver it to us right here and now. They've been super powered by the Swedish Savant. Susp has been having a game. 19 and 10 right now, 100 ADR.
Yeah, he is really proven to be a powerhouse, especially when you're enabling him in these aggressive decisions. You know, don't make this man sit on a bomb site. Don't make him stop moving his feet.
His favorite key to press is W. We know that. But it helps when Sonic's there to hold his hand right there with him. Been a fantastic duo between them.
And not necessarily always the thing we look to on Susp. You know, when we're thinking about the development with Metasport, a bit more rigorous, a bit more structured, perhaps. Less independent duels. But Susp is showing that he can have that versatility to him. Lake had a struggle defending the B bomb site, fighting in from con. He often didn't find ways to enable himself. You see Sonic not having that same problem. It is kind of a head-to-head between those two. They play a lot of important positions on a lot of maps for both these squads.
I mean, you can also contrast out Sin and Stanislaw and what they were able to do on their T side as well, right?
For
It
sure.
seems like Sin especially has really quieted down. Even if Lake's actually started to pick up some of the numbers, it just looks worse because of where he started. Sin's just gone radio silent.
And not willing to be the one that takes that first challenge.
Yeah.
Not willing to just take a dry swing through mid.
And maybe that's where the relative inexperience does come through, but look at this Susp again. Thinking of that aggression, but it's team damage, Slacks and Sin not feeling great about it. Sonic will fade away. He knows how many players are here. But no, they want to double up. They want to regress. 30 seconds coming in. They know the hit has to be coming forward onto the B side. Sus starts off strong, and Sonic is still here. Might be traded, but they've found more than they've lost, and Friend is hoping to finish it off. A Molotov to back him off, and Friend will still find one as he fades into oblivion. Swisher, how many times will he be put into clutch situations? 15 seconds, has to commit to the bomb plant, but he puts it down. He pushes forward, finds another, and time's running low. This is where he looked for the duel. JBA, however, just wins it. 12 for Wildcard.
I mean, that's the composure you want. A one-on-one where Swisher is really just holding all of the initiative. He can drive all of these fights. He caught a little bit of a glimpse of JBA just as he was diving back through that smoke. That's why he went for the tap. That's why he went for the swing. But JBA able to steady his hand for that kill. Wildcard, they may have lost their own map, but it's looking like it may be the same here for M80. They pick into an Anubis that they currently trail 5 rounds behind, even if they find themselves on this T side as the favored, more traditionally in statistics. Doesn't matter when you're in the server, and Wildcard are coming up with so many of these ideas that you yourself couldn't pull together.
This time it's a boost called out for Lake, watching out as Slacks pushes forward, but Stans found him! He knows what's going on, can't get the 2, but he's gotten so much space in the mid because of that one frag. Still, M80 will occupy it. Is there going to be aggression through A? It feels like that's in the program, but are we going to get to watch it?
Will there be any penalty for losing middle? Wildcard have been happy to take an advantage and give up that control and play bomb sites. Very infrequently going for late round aggression. They've been doing it more so in the mid round, and once again they'll kind of cede that mid control. They realize that their rotates are going to get there a little too late. They will be burdened by the fact that mid has been occupied for so damn long. But now they split. Just as M80 start to compose themselves for a hit, things could get very awkward very quickly. There's a lot of util available here for M80 and not a lot to stall with here on Wildcard.
Flashbang's been missed as well, but Sonic's at least been able to clear out Dark. He knows where they're going to be coming in from. If they're coming in, no. Susp is starting to rotate away. Sonic's all alone on this site. Time's low, he peeks out and he loses his head for it. Lake on low HP somehow manages to cross despite the spam through the smoke. And honestly, at this point, CTs might even want to consider backing off if they can't get an immediate kill. Friend will be trying to facilitate that for JBA, who pushes forward after the flashbang, but with the smoke blooming on top of him, rather the Molotov singeing him down. He'll be in an awkward position, and the CTs, with their money where it is, really don't want to fight.
Yeah, Sus was just trying to contain as best he can, but yeah, now they are backing off. JBA needed to effectively find that kill. They realized they maybe wasted a little too much time. But in a way, I thought Wildcard were just going to fully commit to that retake as a statement, you know, for themselves, confidence bursting back into the series. They know they've got many opportunities to swing at M80, but this is also a great decision from the T's to actually vary the way that the B-side execute would look. Wildcard trying to cheat an extra rotation by having a player playing deep spawn, and there was a full smoke wall that he just actually couldn't do anything about. You know, they were anticipating Temple and Deep CT.
And it does feel like, because they got mid-control early on into their round, it becomes so much more easier to make Wildcard sweat and force out those late-round rotations. You can't have Susp and Sonic together committing on the B-bomb side the way that they have been again and again. They actually have to second-guess what they're doing for once because Stan is dead.
As well, we see so many in-game leaders that play mid, and it becomes so important as a position because you have the easiest auditories to listen into the canals. You can hear steps outside of A. You make so many more informed decisions, but if Stanislaw is to lose those fights, he could be a burden. Aggressive move from Friend, and the jump spot. Actually, Friend so damn close to hitting that shot.
I thought he had it.
But after that one flash, that one boom of the AWP, they regress back into more defensive positions. Auditory is being given over by Slacks outside of A main, but it doesn't seem as though Wildcard are making too much of that.
They've heard Sin for sure. They know about the presence of one in canals, and this might be time for them to go for that Payton to swing out and clear, but it's Friend to find that first. But Sonic being forced away by the incendiary, at least they can't get information, but JB has got kills, and Wildcard bring it back to a 5-on-3. JB might be low and he'll be found as he fades away, but Rex still can't scale onto the site yet. There's Friend and Stanislaw right next to him to try and force him off. Flashbang is good, but Stan is not blind, and he's still alive. The Farmers needs to come into play. The CT counter flashes are good, and Susp has been great. All on Sin. A 1-on-3, and with time low, he's found 2, but it's not going to be enough. Wildcard will take it to map number 3.
Yeah, I mean, a real struggle throughout just for M80 to get engaged on some of their star players. The relevance of some of these flanks, the fast timings that they were hitting in the start of this game just seemed to effectively disintegrate into irrelevance. Wildcard making some good adaptations, some nice reads as well on how to dispel players out of favor at the top end of Counter-Strike, but M80 decided that this was going to be our final battleground.
Sus will have a chance to feature off that skill that he showcased earlier on as well with the dualies early into this map. Sonic waits and watches. Good damage being dealt, but Sus isn't able to finish anything off. Sonic is the one who has to get the dirty work done, but he's pushed off the building, and that's where Stan's flash will be critical. Friends waiting in for it. Well deployed and well placed shots between JBA and Friend have taken back this B bomb site. Swisher, danger of dropping to his death on 4 HP. Will be looking to reposition. He made a lot of those clutches look decent, but never won any of them on Anubis.
Yeah, and also it's just going to be incredibly difficult. He takes one tag and he is simply gone, even if it's through the edge of a wall. Doesn't matter whether these shots are clean from Wildcard, so long as they're able to get security on this round. I mean, great procedure as well to have that flash lined up in defensive B and try as Swisher might to make something more of this round. Bomb drop to the feet of those CTs, and so they will not move a muscle away from this B bomb site.
At some point, you start to wonder about that relocation, and indeed, that's what they're already doing. Stan is watching out for it. Benefit of having a very high building is you can throw weapons off of it and no one's going to know. Except for the people underneath. Swisher, though, has found the first and always has been able to bring it back to a 1v1, but time's not on his side and the bomb isn't on his back. He's got no idea where Friend is. He's worried about a push through from B stairs that might have been coming forward to hunt for him, but now he's heard it. Now both players know where the other is. And with the time where it is, Swisher has to fight. He knows it as well, but it's a fight he would never have won. Full HP or 4, Friend would have gotten it done.
Yeah, I mean, knew exactly what he had to do in that situation. Play the clock. Swisher as well, it's just hyper-conscious. Even with that very big reposition he did, given that he caught that first player off guard, he was very suspicious that the reason he wouldn't be looking at his flank had to be that there was a player inside of middle or spotting towards A, but just didn't have the right read. A nice attempt there from Swisher to bring it to the one-on-one, but like you said, time was against him.
Okay, there's a fun stat about this series so far. I believe that every single team that has won the pistol rounds has lost the map.
That feels like a non-correlative stat, but
I didn't say it was a good stat. I said it's a fun one.
Yeah.
And Rex been a fun player to keep an eye out on, and he started off with a very strong entry. Swisher provides a second.
It's simultaneous kills there from M80 on both extremes. I mean, just losing track and capitalizing on this lapse in the rotation there from Wildcard. M80 getting these 2 quick picks and B bomb site taken. They come in with this force buy and they find immediate success. We're seeing a faster pace out of M80. You know, the Anubis was slow from both teams, in fact, on their T sides. M80 were really showing a lot of pace at the start of this Vertigo. And they last played each other on this map online. Wildcard were able to take that one 13-9, but with M80 veering into Vertigo as this decider map, does leave you curious about what M80 have prepared or what they saw in that demo after the fact.
And this is one of the maps that M80 does generally do pretty well on, normally courtesy of Lake. Lake loves to, on the T side especially, Lake loves to go aggressively up through ramp while the rest of his team is making a huge amount of noise in mid and B. So very often you'll see Lake being able to take advantage of CTs having that fast rotation timing where he's expecting them to be reinforcing other parts of the map, and he just goes up ramp completely alone with no utility or anything like it. Now that's something Wildcard's going to be expecting. Last time they played up against M80 on this map, they actually did very well. They took that map away. Stanislaw led the charge there as far as the scoreboard was concerned. But now it's LAN. Now there's pressure. But Stan's never been the one to feel it. Peeks out initially, can't finish the job off, makes a meal of it, and JBA's done the same. But Friend and JBA have at least picked up one apiece. Friend makes it 2, and it's a 2-on-2. That Wildcard find themselves in. Sonic here to turn it around. He's heard that util, but he's not expecting. Swisher inside the tarp.
Oh, that could be a big oversight. Susp is coming in on this flank, and the first player is low health. Wreck. Eventually, Susp is able to pull it together, but down to 9 health, and now Swisher has all the information he needs to now play out this clutch. Even coming in and trying to find these rifles that have been dropped off by either his teammates or the opposition will be incredibly taxing. Susp trying to play mind games.
This feels like an impossible round to recover unless Swisher really fumbles it, and he's been the one consistent force. He's not really feeling like the player who would do that. You don't have a kit for Susp, and look, at least the gun might be a little bit more accessible at this point. Is he taking it? No. He doesn't have the HP to try and go for anything like it, but they have to be scared, right? The M80 side need to be concerned, and that's why you're going to probably see Swisher come through, maybe try and get some spam out as well, but those Swishers decided completely against it. If Susp had actually stuck it, that's the worst part. He would have taken it home.
Yeah, and I think as well, you know, after the tap, Swisher repositioning and then looking at that smoke thinking, wait, why don't I see him anywhere? He actually could have been inside of it. You're absolutely right, but probably would have offered up a little bit of spam as it was approaching that 10-second mark. But really nicely controlled there from Swisher. It was just a lot of back and forth trades in this fast ramp attack from M80.
Unfortunately, JBA and Stanislav both looked like they were set up for potentially a multi-kill, but a lot of damage doesn't convert in. Friend had to be the one to finish it off.
Yeah, and if Sonic had maybe not gone down so quickly, maybe that flank finds the kill, they find the advantage. Again, it's timing that really comes to bear there for Wildcard.
That said, you don't really want to be a maybe baby and whine about it. It's all about this one, and as they've reinvested forward, the MP9s and 5-7 swing out. There's that double, and beyond that, Stan will lose his life and that of his teammate, but not the advantage. Sonic's the one to contribute one more. That's what they needed. The bomb as well is down, and Rek is the really only player who can look to recover it. Sonic refaces. What a shot to Swisher's head. Gets paid back, and it's twice over. Wildcard even.
Yeah, I mean, they go and commit to another force buy. They got it so close last time over. They know they could very quickly reset the M80 squad immediately, and you know, you should probably anticipate a force buy right back from the M80 squad, given that there's, I guess, their faster aggression that they're going for. The B bomb site has, I guess, been targeted in these. I mean, the pistol as well as the following force buy. They're able to squeeze together at least 3 Galils, so it's not like it doesn't have stopping power. But so far, I mean, a lot of these investment rounds from either side has just come down to good trades, good openers. We're not often getting to mid to late rounds through tactics. It's through a lot of violence.
Isn't that just the best? Might not be the best for the players on the server. They would really like to have the scaffolding around them to climb up and build this foundation, but sometimes you just got to go in with a step ladder and a dream. And right now, speaking of ladders, Swisher boosted up, hoping to hunt down Susp over here, who's very loud and proud. He's brazen, and Friend is providing him backup elsewhere on the map. That's a missed shot, and it is critical.
Sonic will have a lot to do, but he does have reinforcements coming. All of the troops are en route here for Wildcard, and so they're able to double swing out from the generators. Sonic will get his one, and even converts on a second with that extra presence. Able to alleviate that strain here on the B bomb site. Bomb spotted and dropped, but they don't know where Sin was last seen.
He's made noise now. Sonic is just ready and waiting. Beautiful round from him, the big triple. Playing off of Stan's position as well very effectively, and despite the fact that they lose out that initial duel between the boost and the default boy, Susp's demise will not be capitalized on by M80.
Yeah, wildly enough, you know, we think about teams and, you know, even the way that M80 are likely to play on their CT side, Lake is going to be that aggressive man, even on the defense as well, challenging in from short. Stanislaw is often the guy that does it for Wildcard, and he's had some great success on the 5-7s.
Look at how aggressive Friend is also just getting ready to be. It's time to start farming. Run boost around the corner, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
If he had a Zeus, he gets that. That's the worst part.
Oh, how are these bursts not connecting?
Oh
Every
God.
bullet is dodged by Friend, but while he struggles, Sus does not. Nicely handled. The AWPer getting 4 kills on an SMG. That's exactly what you want. But I think it is going to be about who sort of backs away from going for those faster timings. Given the early precedent that M80 have set, Wildcard are willing to greet them in at the ramp. They're willing to take those challenges themselves. And if, honestly, if Stanislaw is able to puff out his chest enough and deter them from those fast A plays that you were talking about that Lake is often going for, then you would wonder how the rounds are supposed to develop from there. Are they going to be able to line up other plays for Lake to take part in? Or maybe it might not even be necessary if Rek is able to find kills so quickly like this.
Stan also feels like he wants to get aggressive, but with the flash on the other side, it's certainly going to be countered upon immediately. Friend nading open the smoke, flashes are dodged, and he's going to be able to continue to maintain sightlines. But putting away the AWP, I know it's to deploy utility, but makes it really uncomfortable to rescope into that position.
It's the first real clean advantage that M80 have had so far on this attack.
And they've frozen right as if they've gained it, hoping to fend off of any aggression to come through from Wildcard. And well, Friend has given them that, and he's faded away.
He's just exuding so much confidence. In so many of these games, Friend is often left to his own devices. You know, it felt like he was detached from the pack, but right now, I mean, channeling some great energy. 10 kills so far. An opening, a pick right back that equalizes the affair into 4-on-4, and M80, they're going to have to start making their move soon enough. 35 seconds, and they're just starting to get into positions where they can make that a possibility.
Friend's going to have another chance, and he's taken it. Beautiful second shot for the AWP, and it is Stan to find another as well. Slacks responds, but time is low, and the bomb is nowhere near a sight, and Lake's presence will at least make the CT start to wonder about going back over. But the problem is Slacks' backstab. He's made noise, and Friend turns around, gets the shot off, but it's frantic. And the bomb can be planted now because of it.
Forward position, and great time for that as well. JBA pulling a nade, and Lake will double up just as that bomb goes down. Fantastic driving of initiative, taking space away, but JBA just completely unbeknownst to him, Lake was in his face just as he pulled that HE.
It's so much done by Friend, and you'd expect them to be able to take that round away, but that's the advantage of getting that initial 5 versus 4, right? It doesn't matter even if someone like Friends come through then with a quick multi-frag.
Yeah, it might have just not been communicated effectively enough as well that middle was a potential gap that Friend had to be concerned about. As soon as he heard that step, like you said, it's frantic from him. Ill-considered. But M80 are not surviving with many in any of these rounds. Hell, Wildcard aren't even in the rounds they're winning.
Stan, quick Molotov out to prevent a quick B-side hit, but he's pushing through the smoke. He wants this so bad! But Rek will not let him receive. And as Sonic and Suspect already pushed forward, they now need to regroup back into the site. Sonic good for 1, and Suspect dealt damage on the second, but Rek's recession is guaranteed by the rest of his teammates being aggressive back out towards that A site. Damage dealt again, but it's Sin who's able to find the kill despite his weaknesses.
Smoke down as well. Friend just got into a position where he could have prevented any progress through elevated towards that A bomb site. Sonic re-aggressing as well, but Sin is behind the smoke and he catches a glimpse, some damage, but Sonic certainly had the health to trade while Sin did not. Swisher last man standing. Again, another recovery position for him. But a 1-on-3 and that smoke fading, they double peek and they double hold the angle in from spawn. They prevent any possibility. Swisher looking down the line, just curious about how on earth they pull these rounds together, because those spots were awkward from M80. Once they breached into spawn and they realized that both the B players were willing to fight, they may have even thought that there was a third player there, given the amount of confidence they had. They weren't going to get wrapped from the B steps.
And I have to say, it feels like M80 are just really struggling to get that initial bit of map control and get something off of it. Mid, of course, was pretty much laid vacant over there, but the immediate re-peek and the immediate retake off it, because Susp and Sonic had already gotten that aggressive control over stairs, so they knew that they can quickly come through and only focus down on the mid pressure that was being asserted on the B-bomb site.
I think it's fair to say, though, you know, when we look at M80 and the way they're structured around Lake and facilitating his aggression, that hasn't really been the case at this event. You know, it doesn't feel in rhythm with set Lake up, take the space, and fight forward. Aside from, I guess, the opening round they played at this tournament, it has been a little lackluster in that department.
And look, Michael, I'm with you, but one of the small pieces of pushback I'll give is Stanislaus trying to push back this eco. Feels like, again, Susp and Sonic should be able to get this under control. The small pushback I'd give is M80 don't set him up with set rounds almost ever.
Sure.
It's very often just pressure elsewhere on the map and you do your thing. But maybe this could even be on a map like Vertigo Lake, saying that I'm not feeling that comfortable doing something like it right now, right? Anubis, he had the freedom.
Yeah.
He saw him in positions like it. He just very often was overrun by Susp and Sonic pushing when he was on the T side, and on the CT side, it just felt like he was being countered out stylistically. So I don't even want to say that this isn't M80 setting him up. This could very much be him saying, I've got to play my B game, and right now that might not be enough.
Oh, and Friend is certainly bringing his A game. Another great pick on this AWP. This time it finds the advantage immediately here for the side of Wildcard. M80 trapped behind smokes. But where we ask for Lake to rear his head, he peers through a smoke and he catches Stan with a smoke. JBA, a nice double from the sandbags though. And so as soon as they think they have a glimpse of hope, suddenly it's just dropped. Rek as well reveals, but they still have two players here. Rek, do they anticipate JBA to still be in this position? A Molotov that will bloom at his feet, but JBA gets nothing for his troubles. 2-on-2 to play out.
They've been very good at bringing things back to even, and that's the scary part. Despite Wildcard's advantages, they never really seem to be able to comfortably maintain them. Friend has been the one with a magic hand, but he's now looking to maybe even overreach, thinking about being the one to fight for information, but a flash overhead should not be blinding him. Friend's got the close range angle, but he can't get the shot. It's difficult, sure, but it was necessary regardless, and with Susp smoked off, he needs to get that extra verticality. Peeks out, catches that turn away, but Sin will shut it down. Despite the 2-on-4, M80 bring it back.
That is actually crazy. You know, it comes down to the micro there as well. If Susp had killed the far player first, he actually probably has a better chance of killing Rek just as he's clearing towards elevator. Sometimes the devil is in the details. A 1-on-2 that certainly looked doable given the timing that Susp hit, but you know, for the fast shooting that Friend has offered up, maybe it shouldn't have come to that 2-on-2. But I'm with you. You know, this idea that even when they're getting advantages there, it's hard to keep them clean. And the money is dried up here for Wildcard. If M80 win this round, the path to getting at least an equal scoreline is incredibly feasible.
But at the same time, it feels like Wildcard can say the same for themselves, right? It's, if you win this round, well, I guess we can probably walk to 8. Don't need to be going full sprint mode on it, but incredibly crucial round this might be. We just have to see how both teams want to play it. Sonic has not actually reinforced the B-bomb site. They were much more worried about it late mid-play in this one. Susp is also playing very defensively. They want to stack into A.
Smoke is incredibly deep inside of elevator, but 3 decide to play past it. Not exactly a lot of progress being made here by M80 in this feigned A aggression, but B has been left incredibly vacant. Right now, Wildcard have bit down on this idea, but that's because they've got at least the lingering presence of Friend on that AWP on B.
And I mean, if this is Stan's call, it is fantastic. fantastic. JBA is as well. Peeks out, quick double. The MP9 delivers, and M80 are left wondering, was that the solo man? Was he only looking for information? And there's a nasty surprise behind. It's more and more CTs. 25 seconds. Sus knows his position is crucial, and with Sin on the other side already taking damage, Sus makes up for the previous round. Swisher alone might have been impressive in these late round spots, but Wildcard are in full control. It's comfortable as they win with 4.
And M80 chose this map, so they're in this position now where, you know, some things that they may have had planned or in the locker ahead of this potential third map in the series, it has not come to pass. Every single round is incredibly tenuous. Every time they're trying to fight in towards these positions, they're always traded. They're down numbers. Aside from like the opening 4 rounds where they maybe found vacant sites and they were able to burst successfully on the force buys, when they've been in gun rounds, I mean, right now Wildcard are simply holding all of the drive in this map.
And right now M80 are holding the steering wheel, sure, but it's not connected to anything. Wreck pushed away as he fails to find the punish on the off. Sonic nearby dissuades him from pursuing. Swisher. Elevation is going to be useful, but it could also lead to a false sense of security. Susp is moving fast. Susp is moving through. A flashbang would decimate them. But it doesn't look like they have it. None of them having any defensive utility beyond smokes to refresh, and Susp has to do it on his own. HP is low, Molotov is there, Sus moved away and Slacks to put him down. It's Friend who tries to take up position. It's a very dangerous Friend as well. But dangers might be avoided. Rek's demise, though, will move Sonic back over to the B bomb site, while A will be reinforced not just with players but also aggression.
You think how simple the last force buy looked for M80, but I mean the first force buy we saw in this map, but it is just turmoil. They look discombobulated here on this T side, and JBA, where he may have shied away once before in the best of ones, he is here to stay. It is an 8-round half from Wildcard as we go into the last half of this best of 3.
if we could talk, but then say nothing. Maybe you just had too much to say. Cause when you call me up, you just want one thing. And maybe in the end you'll get your way. But I just wanna know, oh, 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 yeah, if we should take it slow, oh, 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 yeah. I just wanna show ya, I'd do anything for you, girl. I just wanna know, oh, 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 yeah. I just wanna know.
Coming in all bluster, all banter, all boisterous, but M80 right now do not look all right. Down 4 rounds on a map that they have picked before in another matchup versus Wildcard. Right now they look lost on Vertigo.
Real struggles on that T side, but here on CT, Rek is just lapping them up with these dualies. 2 quick headshots and he'll finish off Stanislaw as well. Lakeman has started taking a headshot, but Rek is there to make sure there are no more problems. Friend trying his hardest to win this round single-handedly, a couple of kills. But they've got the plant on B, Sus playing forward, and Rek finally dispatched of. Lake on that low health becomes incredibly relevant. They've doubled up together, they're trying to guarantee the trade, they'll try and line up the double swing, and they'll take the high-low approach, one jumping across, and Slacks will finish off this round here for M80. It is not a clean sweep here for Wildcard. They have to reach some turbulence, but given the way the last pistol went and was met by a force buy, there's no guarantees of that sort of conversion round after.
Look, at the same time, M80 just have to celebrate that win and see what they can do with it, right? If they've been much more effective at converting on the rounds where they have big advantages in across the series. They've been much more effective at making sure the 4v2s become, maybe 3v0s or something like it overall. So if they're able to get some of that momentum back in their sails, you could see this working out for them, especially because Friend is no longer going to be opping on that CT side. And he was the one who was really just an absolute monster.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not opping as heavily, but he's been playing damn good. So it may not matter what he has in his hands.
Those hands were made to smash, and it doesn't matter what they're holding.
Yeah, and it's well armed as well here for the Wildcard side, but they are going to be missing a lot of utility in favor of the weaponry that they employ.
The 3 MAC-10s means that the 2 flashers might be really useful though, but there's a lot of players to move past. 4 on the A site, and M80 are hoping to dodge bullets right now. They haven't. Losing 2, losing 3, and Stan makes them lose 4. Swisher comes back into it. The late round surprise that M80 have had in store has never really been more than a cute little jack in the box. Never been able to actually win it out. But there's 1v3. He's got information of one, an inkling of the other. And as he moves back towards the bomb site, he's found his way into yellow and back behind. Swisher's position might not be expected, but with Wildcard playing with their cards held tightly against their chest, not revealing any position, this is going to be nearly impossible.
Yeah,
Swisher.
I mean, there's just no resistance. He doesn't have a kit either, so he really needs to find a kill very quickly. And you can see Sonic, just as soon as he hears any steps, just willing to peek immediately out from headshot. Great call there from Wildcard as well to play forward after that plant. Even if it wasn't going to be in a great position for them in the after, they just wanted to make it as uncomfortable as possible for Swisher. They may have come in as the local heroes, the direct invite here into ESL Challenger Atlanta, but it is the North American qualifier team in Wildcard that find themselves with all the advantages here on this map. A rivalry built within North America. First chance to play each other on LAN, and I think a surprising set of circumstances M80 find themselves in.
And right now, if Wildcard can just shut down this one round, it feels like they can really just taste victory. But they have struggled before. And so did M80 on their own T side, but a grenade to the body of Swisher is not how he wanted to start things off. Friend. Mac 10 on the other side, hoping to capitalize on the earlier damage, and that's exactly what he does. Will be traded courtesy of a flashbang, but the destination has now changed to A, and the same can be said for the CT side as they rotate back over.
Coming up short real quick, and Sin able to play that close range angle, but they lose a couple of players so rapidly, and Stuff's even journeying the smoke as well. Slacks, the last defender of B, is late to the party. And Wildcard continue to deter these forced by attempts here by M80. They will have to bend the knee in favor of a save. Wildcard already at double digits.
And Wildcard could feasibly have been a team that people from the eastern side of the world, from the European hemisphere, would have thought that maybe these guys even go out last. Who knows? Of course they're not going to beat M80. Of course they're not going to be lighting up a candle to the team that went so deep in the ESL Pro League. But Wildcard are showing that American dream.
And we had a lot of talk between Lake to JBA about going missing or being an onliner. Sonic was trying to dispel those, saying, why is he the one that's saying those words? Lake has had struggles in this series finding activation, whether that's multi-kills or just even these aggressive moves that he's become so known for. He wanted to model himself after Malbs, but is this just not the team that Malbs left?
11. One gun round. Realistically, it is one gun round separating Wildcard from taking down potentially what was earmarked as the region's finest.
Behind Complexity.
M80 beat Complexity at ESL Pro League.
It's not that there isn't an argument, but
it's not the strongest one.
Yeah. They are, I mean, they certainly seemed like they were on the cusp of even taking that away from the star of North America. They have to put a stop to it right now. M80 need this round. It is of critical importance, but again, it is Friend. The stand-in that we had limited expectations for has really shone here on Vertigo, from pick to pick, from CT to T. It's this European driving force here on the side of Wildcard. Friend finally dealt with. So it might have started with a clean advantage, but it's back to 4-on-4. And given that they lose him at an awkward time, they were actually kind of tailored up towards B, but they reassert themselves in at Ram. Sin getting a jump spot out.
Susp wants to move through the smoke of ahead. JBA's found Swisher, and Susp is hoping that maybe that'll be turning away the default player. Even if it doesn't, Rek brought down low and brought down completely. Susp's got 1 HP, and that's all he wants as the rest of his teammates start to quickly hurry back to this B bomb site. Susp holds on, but not for long. Slacks will force him away from this mortal plane. 2-on-3. Slacks has a chance over here to be able to come through and deliver where Friend did as well, but Stanislaw shuts him down. Only Sin remains. The last gun round that M80 were going to have, and Sin wants to bring in more. But with Wildcard playing as safe as they are, Stanislaw and JBA on the other side, Sin might just be stopped before he even has a chance. Stanislaw elevates himself, and some would say he's been doing that with his team all series long. And as he finds Sin inside the smoke, continues to push him away. Sin is down. Wildcard at 12. And Stan will remind M80 that the only Great Lakes are Canadian.
7 rounds needed. 7 rounds straight from an M80 that really had their best buy. Just that round just gone by. A great util set just as they're starting to link up with Susp inside of that B bomb site. The smoke and the Molotov combo, so incredibly disruptive. You saw Slacks did not want to hang around, didn't want to take massive gambles, but realized as well they kind of needed the space to come back in for that retake. A lot of hope lie on the shoulders of those 2 Germans on the side of M80. But can they actually pull things together? Lake, a great kill. They even journeyed the smoke. Sin does get one before Friend immediately flicks back. It's good damage. And an advantage found off the rip.
Lake continues to jump spot forward. Friend is hoping to catch him out as he attempts to do so. And M80 have found that firm advantage, but is it a little too late? Not to say that Wildcard still can't make this round work out. The problem is going to be that M80 is reinforcing the B bomb side. Destination is very much known.
They've just got so much utility here on Wildcard. They have options. They can make this a full-on exec, even with the 3 players that remain. One well-placed flash could completely crumble the defenses here of M80. They still run with MP9s and FAMASs, and they have very little to stall out the execute entirely. Swisher forced forward by a Molotov. Rek and him playing so close to one another, trying to make use of these MP9s. That flash is fantastic. Stanisville able to convert. Sus, the trades are back, but there's a player out towards the generator. Sus delivered a 1-on-2, and while the util is up, they're going to respect that entirely. It's the nade that finishes off the job. It will be a round registered here for M80.
They keep themselves alive, and it is with early aggression coming in through the smokes out towards ramp, just making sure that they can find that first kill and just keep things in their favor. It's where they've found fortune before as well with the early conversions, but only once on that first half. Is it something you can continue? Is this a road you can even look to build?
And are they going to be inspired to do it on actual gun rounds? You know, part of the reason they would have gone for that is because they knew they had inadequate weaponry to fight at these long-range angles that the ramp or the B steps could often provide you. Going to close that gap as much as possible and increase the lethality of the hypermobility that the MP9 offers you.
Slacks will have the AWP as well, so at the very least he won't be able to say he didn't have a chance to do what Friend did in that first half. Slacks will face out, and that's exactly what Friend did, but now turned back to him. Medicine bitter, as it is swallowed by more than just the one.
And it feels like it was quite some time ago, but the first map in this series, Dust2, you saw how Slacks took control. We had aces from both Slacks and Lake on that very same map. Sure, Wildcard are centimeters away from the finish. But if these players start to activate, Wildcard could maybe find themselves just as stumped as M80 were on that T side.
Rek and Swisher continue to hold off this B-side aggression. Rek not able to trade out immediately, so Stan at least has a chance to deal damage, if nothing else. But with Rek being unwilling to reveal himself over here, it feels like M80 will have run away with a very clean round.
Yeah, it's nicely handled. A very boisterous swing from Slacks at the start of it, considering the success that Friend has had in these opening duels. But you cannot shy away from that head-to-head. It's a play you have a good spawn for, especially as a player that has been on such a massive rise since he's made the journey overseas. In front of a crowd that are largely supporting you. M80, there's a lot of representation in that crowd. We gather here at DreamHack Atlanta. ESL Challenger Atlanta has been a thrill already, but it is going to be happiness and sadness simultaneously given the North American Derby.
And although Wildcard are at the space where you can trip over and get a win, sometimes you can find yourself a bit too even-keeled in these situations. Sometimes you're just telling yourself, it's okay, guys, we just need one more round, it's fine. Just play normal, play normal, play normal. And in the pursuit of normalcy, you can lose out on even the biggest leads, but there's still a far stretch from that. This round should be a gimme. Some damage would be nice just for the confidence, just to reduce some of the confidence from M80, because that is building up right now.
Yeah, prospects of this round weren't exactly high in the first place, but then they tanked a nade at the very start.
Never helps.
It's very well placed. And these players have armor, so it chewing them up, bullets doing the rest of the job. But they'll bleed this round dry. It's time for them to set themselves up, reacquire focus. They know that there are chances for M80 to come back into this game, but there are also many chances for Wildcard to finish it. This will be a guarantee of an 8th, so M80 bring it within 4. 3 rounds straight, and it's courtesy of some nice aggression to, I guess, spark what could be an irradiated CT side.
And the money is good, so despite the fact that you are down, at the very least, you'll never have to worry about, oh, if we just win around with one player alive, we won't have an AWP, we won't have this. You will have all the bells and whistles to try and make a melody together that gets you to a comeback, but can you actually get there? Still a couple more gun rounds to go. Start to smell it in the air. Friend is hoping to be challenged out by Slacks once again, the one-on-one where if he just gets a straight-up duel, he'll at least be able to take responsibility for the round and the way it starts. But it's Rek who's going to be having that load put on his shoulders, and it's no heads on the shoulders of Wildcard. Not at this rate.
I mean, that was fantastic. Just instant deletion of what was supposed to be a targeted attack his direction. Sonic does find a kill back towards the A bomb side as well. Still 3-on-3. Bombs detached and not really actually with any of these players probing for more. But it is so difficult to read how M80 are going to continue to approach this round, given the success of Rek. Lake is in position, and that smoke is not going to last forever. And even just there to give him a nice little bit of support. May not even need it. The shots are lovely.
And it's the big 2 from Wildcard who are still alive, but it's a big job for them to do. Friend is hoping to flank out, and with Dust providing pressure, they might not be expecting someone to come in from behind.
They won't.
Friend comes through, it's a freebie. There goes Lake, it's a shot to the head, and now he's going to be peeking forward to try and disable anyone inside the elevators. They're so afraid, and with the smoke down, the bomb can be planted. Sin can't cast them off. Friend will shut it down, and this might be it. A kill away. Swish's demise guarantees it. Wildcard will go forward. M80 eliminated.
The underdogs coming into this matchup, sure, they go back and forth online, but when we see them on land, there is so much talk, so much chatter about is it too soon? Is it too... Are the lights maybe too bright for Wildcard? But they show up where they need to. The decider game coming out of their group. Sure, they have to go against these North American